Hello, good morning, leaders. This is Joel Emercas. I am taking up a Bachelor of Science in Hospitality Management, third year, and I'm currently studying at the Green Valley College, Coronadal. This is what I've been learning for the MICE class this semester. Chapter 1, MICE is an acronym for Meetings, Incentives, Conferences, Conventions, and Exhibitions Industry. The MICE industry is one of the fastest growing and lucrative areas of the tourism and hospitality industry. They're providers of products, equipment, and services in an environment in which they can demonstrate their products or trade show. A convention is an event in which meetings are combined with exhibitions. The MICE industry is an exciting and profitable segment of revenue for the tourism and hospitality industry. A major source of revenue for the tourism and hospitality industry comes from the meetings, conventions, and exhibits segment of the industry. There are four major components of the MICE industry. These are the planners, host facilities, services, and exhibitions. Planners are individual or groups that plan meetings, conventions, and exhibitions. Planners are classified into corporate meeting planners, association meeting planners, and independent meeting planners. Host facilities provide lodging, meeting rooms, food and beverage, and other services for groups attending meetings, conventions, and exhibitions. Services refer to individuals or organizations that provide support for meetings, convention, and exhibitions. The following factors: Meeting Planners Association, the airline industry, the lodging industry, convention centers, conference centers, meeting technology, and the ground handlers. The MICE industry is one of the fastest growing segment of the tourism and hospitality industry. Convention and exhibitions generate a considerable amount of revenue within the tourism and the hospitality industry. Hence, most cities have visitors and convention centers that are designed to entice meetings, conventions, and exhibitions. For the Chapter 2, there are several organizations and individuals involved in the MICE industry. These are associations, convention centers, conference centers, tour operators, trade shows and expositions, hotels and convention, and visitors bureaus. When we say associations, both trade and professional are non-profit organizations that host meetings and conventions. When we say convention centers, are facilities usually owned by the government that offer large and small spaces for meetings, shows, and banquets. When we say conference centers, are facilities that aim to host smaller conferences, which include accommodations, food and beverage services, and meeting areas. Tour operators work with the meeting planners in arranging group tours for the meeting participants of their families. This group of tours are usually offered before or after a conference. A trade shows and exposition is a growing industry. They generate economic benefit to exhibitors, show sponsors, the host facility, and the host city. The trade sponsor are trade or professional associations who sponsor shows to generate revenue. The exposition or show manager is responsible for all aspects of the trade show. He or she acts as a liaison between the sponsor and the exhibitors. Service contractor provides services and products needed for the show. They are usually hired by the show manager or the meeting planner. Hotels provide accommodations for the attendees of meetings and conventions. The convention service manager of the hotel acts as a liaison between the meeting planner and the hotel. The Convention and Visitors Bureau is a non-profit organization that solicits meetings and conventions to a city and helps service groups who held events in that city. As the MICE industry continues to become more professional, more sophisticated, and more global, there is a need for industry professionals to acquire the best education and training in order to become globally competitive. And now we are here in the chapter 3. At present, the job of planning a meeting is recognized as a career. A few years ago, it was generally believed that anybody could plan a meeting and that there were no special skills required for it. However, a meeting have become more sophisticated, so have those individuals who plan them. Today, there are several people who may have the responsibility of planning a meeting. This individual may work for an association, corporation, government, travel agency, or themselves. Regardless of who they work for, the job of planning a meeting requires many pre-meeting activities, on-site supervision, or coordination during the meeting, as well as post-meeting follow-up and evaluation. This chapter introduced the characteristics and responsibilities of MICE planners. For the chapter 4, the sponsor of a meeting, convention, or exhibition is the group responsible for the event. It can be an association, corporation, trade union, independent company, religious group, theater and art group, and social organization. These organizations sponsor meetings, conventions, and exhibitions for varied reasons. Some of these reasons are to generate revenue, educate or train members, network, and solve problems. The sponsor is responsible for the event concept. Include in the conceptualization phase is determining that a need exists for the meeting. Once the need has been verified and the concept established, the sponsor will then proceed to the plan of the program. Usually, the sponsor hire a MICE planner to plan, organize, and execute the event. The process of MICE planning starts before the date of the meeting. The following are the different steps involved: establishing the goals and objectives, targeting the population, design the program, creating a budget, selecting a site, hiring a subcontractors, negotiations and contracts, formulating committees, establishing a marketing and promotional plan, and designing food and beverage function. MICE management continues on site during the event and also includes the post-event evaluation. Chapter 5, management is the ability to direct, control, and lead people to work in an efficient manner. Good management is necessary to enable a MICE organization to succeed. Principal objectives of management are to organize, plan, motivate, communicate, create, control, and solve problems. Other functions of management that are significant in MICE management are decision making, team building, delegation, leadership, staff appraisal and training, authority, responsibility of power, and crisis management. Decision making is the ability to evaluate and carry out strategies. Team building is the ability of a group of people together. Delegation is the ability to assign an activity to group of persons who are competent to achieve it. Leadership is the ability to influence and inspire others to accomplish an objectives. Chapter 6. Marketing is an integrated process of producing, distributing, and selling goods and services. The fundamental of principle of marketing is that the customer is in MICE marketing. The needs of event customers should be given in careful consideration. Promotion is the process of bringing the products to the attention of the public and the prospective participants. The different aspects of promotion are logo, advertising, media, public relations, selling, souvenir, presentation, merchandising, and publicity. It aims is to achieve attention, interest, desire, and action. Chapter 7. Adequate financial support is a vital for the success of an event. The biggest error of MICE organizer is to launch an event without adequate funding. Careful budgeting is necessary for the event to work well. The budget must be accurate because inaccurate figures can be misleading and may cause bigger problem in the future. Efficient control of financial transactions is essential to prevent financial losses. So MICE organizers need to identify possible source of funding. Sources of funds are sponsorships and fundraising. Sponsors of event may group or individual. Sponsorship can be very rewarding if the MICE organizer and sponsor will work together to make it effective. Fundraising can generate a significant of money if the type of fundraising activity is carefully chosen and if it is a new idea. A bid is a proposal to host an event. It is important marketing tool in obtaining business. It should be clear and complete. The bid process consists of two stages, the preparation and the present. Chapter 8. Event must comply with the standard and customary regulations and procedures. There are four basic reasons why an event must comply with the existing laws and regulations. The reasons are to protect one's legal interest, to abide by ethical practices, to ensure the safety and the security of event stakeholders, and to protect one's financial investments. The key components of an event management agreement or contract are the parties, the offer, the consideration, and the acceptance. Event management agreements usually include other clauses, the most typical of which are terms, cancellation, force majeure, arbitration, billing, time of the essence, assignment, insurance, indemnification, refutation, and the complete agreement. In the addition to the main event consulting agreement, there are other main event management agreements, namely consulting agreement, employment agreement, exhibitor hotel contract, non-compete agreement, purchase order, sponsorship agreement, and vendor agreement. Contracts, permits, and license have a synergistic relationship. All these three instruments are necessary for the professional operation of modern events. A strategy of risk management is essential to protect the event organizer and to ensure that the delegates have a safe and enjoyable experience. Is important that event organizer anticipate the risk and try to curtail and minimize the risk. And now we are down to the chapter 9. Ethics have been an area of concern since the beginning of time. Important works have been written about the importance of ethical behavior. Unethical behavior has always been a source of contention in the business community, particularly in the mice industry. The mice industry needs to reevaluate the ethical standards because it faces a number of ethical dilemmas in its business practices. To transform the overall ethical behavior of the industry, changes must take place. It is essential that the mice industry follow the concepts of business ethics and develop and implement an appropriate code of conduct. For Chapter 10 learnings, the main function of technology in the mice industry is to gather, store, and provide data to the different levels of users. The following are the major advantages of technology over manual systems. Opportunities to use data in more efficient manner, greater defendability, and less possibility of a human error. Consistent operations, more secure data, as well as a real-time analysis and review. The present trend of most mice companies is to maintain a paperless office where the company depends completely on a software collection, storage, and retrieval of data. Many types of computer technology are currently being used. These systems can be distinguished by the methods used to process information, by the type of filing systems used for storing and retrieving data, and by hardware configuration. Chapter 11, the mice industry will face many changes in the next millennium. In the future, there are the three main expectations of attendees of conventions and events. First, they expect the convention or event to be productive. Second, they expect it to provide good business and personal growth. Third, they expect it to provide a high level of service. Cities and municipalities are looking at the mice industry as a source of revenue. To realize this objective, many cities are implementing many changes such as upgrading facilities and creating new ones, promoting existing tourist attractions, developing new tourist attractions, and improving intercity transportation systems. The role of professional education in the mice industry will continue to dominate the industry in the next millennium. Because we live in the technology centered world, people will have to be trained and their skills upgraded. This upgrading should be the concern of professional and trade association of the future. The globalization of our world will also affect the mice industry because the industry is no longer operating on a national level. It must make the necessary changes to enable it to compete on an international level. So we are down to our last chapter, which is the chapter 12. So, to create a memorable experience, the event organizer should meet and exceed the expectation of the attendees. A special event could be a meeting or a convention, a parade, a festival, a fair, or an exhibit. It is necessary for each planner to understand the objectives of the event. The key to success in managing a special event is to have planning tools in place. Special events management understand and works with the community infrastructure to help to support the event. The planner should decide in advance which part of the promotional mix model of the event should be used. The promotional mix model of the event includes advertising, direct marketing, interactive or internet marketing, sales, promotions, publicity and public relations, and personal selling. Sponsorship will help organizers in paying the expenses of a special event. It can be a strong marketing tool. Working with a local and a national media coverage is, whether print or broadcast, the target market for the special events must be considered in the promotion of the event. The basic operation or logistics for the special event must follow the planning and promotion. A checklist of the items that need to be handled is a must for all planners. Planners should also make a checklist to help to develop the special event budget, which requires regular reviews of the statement of revenues and expenditures. The breakdown is the final step and includes another checklist for the closure of the event. So, this is my learning throughout the semester. This book or this subject provide us with the basic framework for planning mice and the knowledge and skills necessary if we would like to become a mice professional. Thank you for watching and listening. I hope you've learned something from my learning throughout this semester. So that's all for today, and good morning, leaders.